Good morning. It's a lovely day here in Iceland. The rain is gone and we have breakfast. I know it looks like it's a big breakfast, big enough to feed a Viking, but we have a lot of things on our schedule today.
Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we travel from Reykjavik to South Iceland. From black sand beaches to majestic waterfalls, this road trip through South Iceland is going to be packed with some unforgettable experiences. So buckle up, because today we're taking you through our favorite stops along the south coast. We had done this trip with a private tour group in the winter of 2016. Back then, the roads were covered in snow and it was freezing to stand outside to see the waterfalls. Now that we had a car rental in the summertime, we wanted to see South Iceland under different conditions. I don't remember seeing all this greenery and coastal lands during our tour since it was snowing. Also, we're going to add the Solheimasandur Plane Wreck to the itinerary, whereas we didn't get to see it in 2016. The drive to Vik is an adventure in itself. As you make your way along Iceland's famous ring road, the scenery is absolutely breathtaking. Rolling green hills, rugged cliffs, and distant glaciers fill your view, making it hard to resist pulling over every few miles for a quick photo. Two and a half hours later, we arrived in Vik. This is a popular place for tour groups to stop off at. It's a charming little village that's also home to the famous Vikurfjara Black Sand Beach.
2 hours later, we're here in the southern village of Vik. That was such an enjoyable drive to Vik. When we came here 8 years ago on our tour bus, we didn't really see much because everything was covered in snow and ice. Before we go on our exploration of Vik, it's time for a break, or more like checking out the Icelandic Hotdog, and we need to get some coffee.
Perfect.
No road trip in Iceland is complete without a stop for one of the country's most iconic snacks, the Icelandic Hotdog. You'll find these delicious hot dogs at nearly every gas station, and they're way more than just a quick bite. There's the famous Vik Church, something I didn't notice 8 years ago. There's the visitor center with more shops and restaurants where the tour buses stop off. It was a short walk to Vikurfjara Beach. What makes Vikurfjara special is its quieter, more serene atmosphere compared to its famous neighbor, Reynisfjara Beach, just a short drive away.
I think this sand is even blacker than the one on Big Island.
While Reynisfjara often steals the spotlight with its towering basalt columns and the dramatic Reynisdrangar sea stacks, Vikurfjara offers a more peaceful, less crowded experience. It's a perfect spot to take in the moody Icelandic landscape without as many tourists around.
Because, yes, it is very windy, so if you do come out here even in the summertime, make sure to pack a jacket.
As we headed back to our car, we spotted a tour group on Icelandic horses. Aw, the horses are sturdy and yet adorable at the same time. We bid goodbye to Vik and headed back in the direction of Reykjavik, as we had planned our route to be an out and back as opposed to a loop like the Golden Circle in my previous vlog. Link to that video will be in the description box.
Originally, I had intended on us to hike to the plane wreck, but given the weather conditions, we're going to take a shuttle instead, so that's where we're headed to. It's been a dream of mine in the last 8 years to go visit this plane wreck. I know, it's kind of a strange desire to see in a country, but there's actually an interesting story behind this plane wreck. We're
getting close to it, so we got to keep our eyes open. So there's supposed to be some sort of turn.
Your destination is on the left.
We have arrived. Okay, I'm relieved because I was afraid we were going to miss the turnoff point, and if we did, it's a total pain in the butt to turn around because the lanes here are really narrow. Everybody else had the same idea, which was just pay for the shuttle instead of hiking the 2 miles out and back. Make sure to book your shuttle tickets online, but if you forget, it's not a big deal. You can buy them on the spot. Of course, after I ordered our shuttle tickets in the car, the weather conditions look a lot better for hiking it. It looks relatively flat. Doesn't look that hard to hike it if you do decide to hike it. I think I was a little freaked out because I remember 8 years ago, this area was completely covered in snow. Our tour guide wanted to take us to see the plane wreck, but instead what happened was we encountered a couple that was like from, I don't know, somewhere else, some other country in Europe. Their car was stuck around this area that our tour guide ended up having to plow them out of the snow. After plowing them out of the snow, we decided not to go to the plane wreck because the road conditions were that bad. There it is, the plane wreck shuttle. And ever since that misadventure 8 years ago, I've always wanted to come back in the summertime and check out the plane wreck. Now some ground rules for visiting the plane wreck. If you do hike it, it's 7 kilometers or 4 miles round trip. Do not climb the plane even if you want that shot for TikTok or Instagram. Also, make sure to dress appropriately depending on the weather conditions. Yeah, I think we made the right decision here because I'm feeling some raindrops. So what if it started to rain during our hike? I wouldn't be too happy with that, especially since I have my camera with me. They have slots every half hour until the shuttle stops running depending on daylight hours. It costs about $23 US per person for the 10-minute trip, but saves you about 3 to 4 hours of hiking. I think that's a great trade-off. So we've arrived, so it's actually about a 7-minute shuttle ride to the plane crash site, and then we get about 30 minutes here before the shuttle comes back to pick us up. In 1973, a U.S. Navy DC-3 plane crash-landed on this desolate stretch of black sand. Thankfully, everyone survived, and today, the wreckage remains, creating one of Iceland's most unique photo spots. Seeing this wreckage up close is surreal. It's like a scene straight out of a movie. The contrast of the crashed plane on the black sand is pretty haunting, but also kind of peaceful in a strange way. I'm just grateful to be able to see the plane wreck, or at least the remnants of it. As you can see, the plane is disintegrating, so who knows how much of it will be left to see in the future. Half an hour at this plane crash site goes by quickly. I almost lost track of time there. Every time the light changes or the angle of the light, it gives off a different mood off the plane. Also, every time the light changes, you get a different perspective of this plane crash. I do feel like we are in the middle of nowhere. Now imagine trying to find this plane wreck in miles and miles of snow. No wonder why we had a hard time locating it when we visited 8 years ago. Still have 1 minute before the shuttle's supposed to come to pick us up. Right on time, the shuttle arrived to drop off more tourists and to pick us up. So many things to do here. So we already went to Vik. We did Reynisfjara 8 years ago. And there's the plane wreck. Then you can also do ATVing up in the mountains there.
So here we are at the plane wreck, and next up, we're going to Skogafoss.
Just a short drive from the plane wreck site is Solheimajokull Glacier. It's one of the most accessible glaciers in Iceland, and you can book a tour to hike it. Unfortunately, we didn't have to hike it for this trip. Even if you don't do the full glacier hike, just seeing the massive wall of ice from the car is an experience in itself. From plane wrecks to glaciers, next on our road trip is Skogafoss, one of Iceland's largest and most iconic waterfalls. Our first waterfall of the day is Skogafoss. I have an interesting story about this waterfall. So 8 years ago when we came, it was, snowy obviously because it was February, but it was also drizzling a bit. And the combination of the water vapors from the waterfall got my camera wet, and then my camera died. I could actually hear my camera die because when I clicked on the shutter, it made a very weird sound, and that was it for it. So I'm back to Shuttl with Skogafoss here with a different camera. And you can camp out here. There's a hiking trail that goes all the way to the top. I wonder what the distance is. Looks like there's stairs, so it can't be that hard. The mighty Skogafoss is one of the largest and most powerful waterfalls in Iceland. With a drop of 60 meters and a width of 25 meters, it's an absolute force of nature. You can literally feel the power of Skogafoss as soon as you get close. The sheer volume of water crashing down creates a thick mist that often forms beautiful rainbows when the sun is out. Standing here, you're surrounded by the roar of waterfall, and the energy is just incredible. If you're up for a little adventure, you can also climb the 370 steps to the top of Skogafoss. It's a bit of a workout, but the panoramic view is worth the effort. Let's see how much of the stairs we're gonna do here. Well, I didn't run today, so that might be my workout. Oh, just gotta be careful, that's the warning. At least these are stairs, and it's not like, some sort of slope where you would need hiking poles. I did pack hiking poles, so we have it in the car, but I guess we won't need them today.
My buns feel firmer already.
That's right. It's leg and butt day today. I'm glad they have these stairs because it made the hike up to the top a lot easier. And the stairs are over. We're about to get a beautiful view here in just a moment. The view from up here is breathtaking. You can see the waterfall from a completely different angle, and on a clear day, you'll get sweeping views of the surrounding mountains and coastline. It's definitely one of the best waterfall experiences in Iceland, both from below and above. Believe it or not, the stairs is the easy part of the hike. You can actually hike around this mountain range area. This path keeps going on and on, as you could see, but we're not going to do the entire thing because we didn't pack to do that type of hike. That's as far as up the path we're going to go. Now we're going to head back down because we have one more site to see here in southern Iceland. I guess because it's summertime and the sun stays out much longer, like 10 p.m., the tour buses can keep coming in because right now it's like 5:30. So I don't remember going up the stairs in the wintertime. I think they probably shut it down. So once again, Iceland is a totally different country in the summertime than in the wintertime. But don't get me wrong, you could still come in the wintertime because with all the ice and snow, it really does look like it's a winter wonderland. By the way, my camera survived, so take that. That's revenge against Skogafoss for killing my Canon TI Rebel 1. Dang, that was so long ago if it was the TI Rebel 1. They do have bathrooms here, but you gotta pay a fee, which I already did. So I don't wanna hear anything about that. And they took Apple Pay for the restroom fee.
Actually, I found all the public restrooms at these nature sites to take Apple Pay or any other wireless form of payment, better than carrying coins on you. Off to our last waterfall of the day, but before we arrived, we got a preview of all the other waterfalls along the road. No kidding that Iceland is full of waterfalls. I'm glad we had planned this out and back path, with going to Vik the furthest point and then heading west to Reykjavik, which meant the two waterfalls were on our right hand side, making it easy to pull into them.
Turn right. Turn left.
It's our last waterfall for the day here in southern Iceland, and it's Seljalandsfoss. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. Oh, and I don't know why there are all these bugs here. This is interesting, so you can get food here. If you got here and decided you're too cold, I guess you could always buy some Icelandic wool sweaters, or maybe a throw or a giant scarf. Seljalandsfoss. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. This waterfall has a unique characteristic, which is there's a pathway where you can walk behind it, so you'll get an interesting perspective of the waterfall. Seljalandsfoss is the main attraction here, but you can also walk along that path and check out some of the other waterfalls. So I decided not to go behind the waterfall because I don't want to break my DSLR camera from the mist of the waterfall. It's really wet and damp, and I don't think my camera can handle it. I want to leave this Iceland trip with my camera intact because I still have one more leg to this vacation.
See what I mean about being able to walk behind the waterfall? But if you're up for an adventure, just have a rain jacket, then go for it. Just know you'll get wet.
Instead of going behind the waterfall, we're just going to take this little path and check out the other waterfalls.
I think you made a good choice. The people coming out of the waterfall are pretty drenched.
I don't recall checking out the other waterfalls the last time we were out here. Maybe it was because the roads were snowed off or something.
It's no Seljalandsfoss, but the smaller waterfalls were just as majestic in their own right. I love the novelty of seeing countless of waterfalls on this trip.
You could keep going along the path and see some more waterfalls, but now that I've seen 3, I'm good. Plus, we have about a 90-minute drive back to Reykjavik from where we're at right now. If you come out here, just plan a little bit more time if you want to see all the waterfalls or walk the entire path.
There's nothing like seeing Seljalandsfoss as we pulled away from the parking lot. It's a waterfall in its own league. As we wrap up our road trip through South Iceland, it's hard not to feel a deep sense of gratitude for this incredible place. From the powerful waterfalls of Skogafoss and Seljalandsfoss to the quiet beauty of Vikurfjara Black Sand Beach and the haunting solitude of the Solheimasandur Plane Wreck, every stop along the way has shown us how diverse and awe-inspiring Iceland truly is. This trip has been a reminder of how important it is to slow down, reconnect with nature, and find joy in the simple things. Iceland offers that in abundance. Even though we had done this tour before, it was worth revisiting it in the summertime to experience it in a different way. And whether you're here for adventure, reflection, or to find a little peace, there's something here for everyone. Thanks for joining us on this journey through South Iceland. We hope it inspires you to explore, appreciate, and maybe even find your own sense of happiness along the way.